When Miriam died in the desert, there was no water. Why was there no water? Well, the Israelites, when Miriam died, they launched into hostile complaints and fighting. And Moshe and Aaron, Miriam's brothers, literally fell to their knees in despair and in grief. Moshe had two choices: give in to the Israelites' complaints to bring water from the rock, or to strike the rock with anger. We know that Moshe chose anger, and I'd like to suggest that this anger was a manifestation of the grief that Aaron and Moshe and the whole Israelite community had yet to feel after Miriam's death. They were in a period of really intense emotion because Miriam had died and there was no water. A midrash teaches that there was a well that the Israelites used as their source of water for 40 years. And when Miriam died, the well had dried up. The rabbinic imagination understood that Miriam's death had a profound impact on the Israelite community. They lost a life-sustaining force. And instead of taking the time to grieve, to pause, and to notice the loss, the Israelites pushed forward. The Torah offers us deep wisdom here. In order to live, we must grieve. Grieving is a part of what makes us human. Grief, it's an integral part of the human experience. We must integrate our sorrow into our lives. We must honor ourselves, our loved ones, and our community by grieving. But we're not meant to grieve alone, which is why we gather today to share our grief through individual recitations of the Yizkor prayer, through communal song, through shared tears, and through mutual support. This year in particular, the worldwide Jewish community has been engulfed in a profound and new sort of grief. We feel alone amongst the people of the world because we've lost too many of our own. We join this Yizkor not just to remember our personal losses, but the losses amongst the entire Jewish community following the devastations of October 7th. We join so that we heed the warning of the story of Miriam's death. We take the time to grieve together because we are not meant to be in our grief alone. Grieving together means sharing stories of loss, listening to others' experiences, offering comfort and love. It doesn't matter if you are here to remember a loved one who left this world 50 years ago, or 30 years ago, or 10 years ago, or maybe even 2 months ago. Sharing stories and memories remains essential. Grief never ends. It has no expiration date. We never have to lose the memories we have of a person, even when they're not physically with us. So the rabbis created the miraculous force of Yizkor to give us intentional and dedicated times to remember. This year, we remember precious lives who the whole Jewish community lost on October 7th and in its aftermath. Their stories they must be told, not just by their parents or children or friends or those reciting Yizkor for them, but by the whole Jewish world. And so today, we remember Sagi Golan, who died 12 days before his wedding to Omer Ohana. Immediately after hearing of the devastation down south, he left his house in Herzliya to rescue families from Kibbutz Be'eri. There he was killed. Instead of flowers for their wedding, his fiancée Omer repurposed their flowers for Sagi's funeral. Instead of a wedding singer, Omer had the singer sing at the funeral. We remember teenager Noya Sharabi, who was murdered along with her 13-year-old sister and mother, and their father is still missing. Her family said that Noya embraced every opportunity to help others. She was a gifted student and linguist. Her sister Yahel was a bundle of energy who loved riding her bike in their kibbutz. And together, Noya and Yahel loved singing and dancing to TikToks. We remember Yehudit Weiss, who was taken into hostage while battling breast cancer without her medication. There, she was murdered. She worked in the kindergarten at Kibbutz Be'eri. She was a loving grandmother and married to a rabbi named Shmulik Weiss, who was also killed by a rocket in Kibbutz Be'eri. We remember Honor Shapira, who was in hiding at the Nova Festival with Hirsch Goldberg Poland. When rockets started flying his way, Shapira picked up live grenades off the floor, threw them back outside the shelter, trying to kill each and every Hamas militant. He kept throwing, and then at one point, a friend noticed that he was no longer standing. He had been killed. We remember the 6 hostages most recently found dead: Hirsch Goldberg Poland, who we have all come to know deeply; Eden Yerushalmi, a Pilates instructor and bartender; Carmel Gott, a traveler and music lover; Alexander Lobanov, a father with a 2-year-old and 5-month-old at the time; Almog Sarusi, who loved traveling and playing his guitar; and Ori Danino, who hoped to study mechanical engineering. The story of Miriam's death teaches us a profound lesson: that grief is an essential part of life and healing. We come together to mourn, to share memories, and to support one another. When we do so, we honor both our loved ones and also our own humanity. Yizkor gives us this dedicated time, a space for the vital process of remembrance. Our communal grief in the last year, it's been particularly acute and far-reaching. The losses suffered on October 7th and after October 7th have touched lives across the world. They've touched us all. And by sharing the stories of some of those that we have lost, we ensure that their memories live on. We carry their legacies forward. We refuse to let their lives solely be defined by tragedy. When we come together, we also reaffirm our connections to one another. When we grieve together, we find strength and solace and the deep wisdom that has sustained the Jewish people through millennia of hardship. Even in our darkest moments, we're not alone. We are together. May the memories of each and every person that each of you have in mind today that have left our world be for a blessing. May their legacies inspire us to be strong and compassionate and courageous and loving. We continue Yisker, bottom of page 290.